Good afternoon, everybody. This is Diane Hoffner Sapphire from Cultural Detective. I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to share with you this afternoon one of my pet peeves in the intercultural field, which is so many times people talk about cultural differences and they don't talk about them in context. You know, you and I behave differently with our partners, our life partners, or our children than we do in a work environment. We might behave differently with somebody we don't know very well and someone we do know very well, if we're the boss or if we're talking to our boss, etc. And the other thing is, I think it's especially important when we're working across cultures to realize that, yes, for example, I myself, I am US American born. And I also have many other layers of cultural influence in me. I was born a woman. That's my gender. Have been brought up a Christian. That's my spiritual tradition. I am a straight woman. That's my sexual orientation. I am 54 years old this year, so there's a generational culture. I lived for 12 or 13 years in Japan, so there's another national culture influence on me. I currently live in Mexico, so there's another national culture influence on me. So we are all composites of a whole lot of cultural influences, not just our birth culture or our birth nationality. Plus, of course, we all have our unique traits as individuals. This graphic on the left shows you a little bit about how Cultural Detective approaches it. That we really, when we're in an interaction with someone, we really need to look at people in their wholeness, as with layers of cultural influence, not just from one layer. Okay, on the right here, I'll move the screen a little bit. You can see a screen from Cultural Detective Online. On the top is a short story, Making the Effort. It's a story of Tricia McCoy, a 32-year-old African American woman who is in Moscow with a group of four U.S. American colleagues who happen to be white males a bit younger than she is, and they're in the engineering field. First of all, you should fill out the worksheet. We highly recommend that you read the story and you fill out the worksheet first. The instructions, of course, for each section are here. You can mouse over them. But what I love is you click on where it says Russian here, and you can open the Russian value lens, right? And after you've already done the debriefing, you can say, okay, so for the Russian team, maybe these sorts of factors were also at play. Let me add that in. And then you go over to Trina. Yes, her name is Trina. I may have called her Trish. Trina is US American. So we start to look at the US American lens, which of course we can have a whole lot of actual amplified information around this as well. But we look at the US American value lens and we say, okay, maybe this affected Trina in this way. Let's see if I can put these so that you can see both of them. Okay, so it's really nice because you can keep looking at more lenses. But then, okay, I say, okay, well, that's Trina's nationality, but you know, really, Trina is African American, it says here. So let me click on this quick view lenses, and let's also open African American, because you know, that may give us some different insight into how Trish is responding in this given situation in Moscow, right? But then let's also say, hey, you know, Trish is a woman, right? So maybe there is something going on because she is a woman. Here we go. We can look at from there. And her partners, her teammates from the US, are men. So maybe there's some gender stuff going on. So we can quite easily open up the men lens and the women's lens and say, okay, what's going on there? Does that inform any of our debrief? All right. And then maybe we even think that it's generational. So we could look and say, well, Trina is a Gen Xer. Okay, Trina is a Gen Xer, and her team members are millennials. So we can look at it from all these different perspectives if we want. And finally, we can even say, let perhaps Trish is Jewish. And we can try to see where Trish might be coming from her spiritual heritage. And then maybe one or two of her colleagues, maybe all of them, are Muslim. We got an Islamic value lens here. Okay. So, what I want to say is just the key point is Cultural Detective looks at people interacting in context. It's all story based. So you look at real people interacting in real situations. And you're not just debriefing them or looking at them and learning from them from their one national culture. You have all these different ways to really look at why they may be feeling and responding the way they're feeling and responding. Okay? Thanks a lot. I wish you very much good luck, very well on your journey to intercultural competence. Thanks for using Cultural Detective Online.